My storytelling and my writing. Well, it all started with storytelling. Really, I grew up in a big family. A lot of people in that family couldn't read or write, so storytelling really was everything to us. It was our way of remembering our history. It was the way of communicating with each other, and it was a form of entertainment because we didn't have TVs, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have any of that, but we had stories, and that was wonderful. And so that's a huge part of my life is being a storyteller. And then about 4 years ago, I was contacted by a publisher to write down some of those stories and see if they could become books. And I'm very, very happy to say that we do. We have this lovely set now of 4 books, and they really chart picture books. They really chart my experience in the Gypsy Traveller community from stories I heard from my family from the old days, maybe going back over 100 years ago, right up to the present. So I wanted those books to span that whole time period, and I think we've done it really, really well. It's absolutely vital that we have Gypsies, Roma, Traveller people represented in books, and particularly positively, because when I was growing up, I became a reader at 4 years old. I taught myself to read at 4 years old, and I never, in the whole of my reading experience till I became an adult and wrote those books, did I ever see any positive children's books that represented Gypsy, Roma, Traveller people in a positive light. So for me, it's vitally important because I think it determines whether or not you become a reader, whether you want to carry on. You pick a book up, there's nothing in there that's familiar, and at the very worst, it could be negative. And you're looking at that. If you come from a particular community or a culture and there's nothing that's familiar, the book will become an alien concept to you. So when I have now the Roma, Gypsy, Traveller children pick up these books and they see things in there that they identify with and they're positive and they think, wow, this is great. It leads them on to other books. And by the same token, when you have a child who picks up a book and it has something positive about gypsies and travellers, then it balances up for them some of the things that they might have seen or heard in the media, but also it answers a lot of questions. For example, why does somebody live in a caravan? Why does somebody speak this way? Why does somebody like that? It gives you a little insight into the culture, and it works so many different ways. If you understand somebody's culture, then you might understand their behaviour. And that for me is really, really important because we all live in the same world and we've all got to try and get on. We've all got to understand each other's cultures. And that is why I think the books work. Because they are essentially, they tell me, great stories that just happen to come from the Gypsy Traveller communities and stories that everybody can identify with and share.